Well, hey there, strong, sexy mamas. Hope you are feeling amazing. I wanted you to just step into a little girl chat that I was having with one of my girlfriends, one of my strong, sexy mamas participants you may even recognize from the videos. This is Jo Coxell and her little 2-week-old Finley. How you going? How you doing?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Finley's currently asleep. He's 2 weeks old tomorrow. So yeah, super early days for us. I've also got a toddler called Sienna. She's 2.5, and she sat downstairs with her dad.
The reason that I wanted everybody to hear from you, Jo, is because you and I were just having a girl chat a few days after Finn was born. And you said you had the most amazing birthing experience, especially compared to the difficult, hectic, unexpected, wild ride that you had the first time. And you really took this thing by the horns and prepared for the second birth and really kind of rewrote your story, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. And I'll start by saying, I'm absolutely no expert on birthing at all. And
Right.
as you said, it was just kind of following off from a conversation that we had. But I did really find that my first experience was, as you say, really hectic. So if I kind of go back to that, so this was 2.5 years ago now, and I'm quite a planned person. I was envisaging this really calm Zen environment where I was going to be giving birth to Sienna, and it basically turned out to be anything but for me. So I had a lot of knowledge around birth, but what I probably wasn't preparing for is exactly how intense it is on the mind, and how that kind of the overwhelming feelings that you go through and that pain as well is very much kind of governed by your mind as well. And and I did end up getting a bit of postnatal anxiety post Sienna as well. And I think that some of that is probably due to the birth, because I remember I used to have these flashbacks around like being in the car and going, oh my goodness, what if I'd had her in the car? And it was obviously all over, and it was done. She was out, everything was fine, and she was healthy. But I think because I didn't really go over what happened, in my mind, it made me quite anxious afterwards. So I think it can have quite an impact on people. And yeah, that can't be underestimated either. Yeah. So yeah, in terms of Sienna's birth, it was very, very quick. The hospital had said to me, don't come in too soon, and I'd taken them so literally.
Same.
That I was like contracting and very far down the line, but obviously having nothing else to compare it to, wasn't really sure how far down the line I was. Then by the time we got in the car, I was almost pretty much pushing, and then it was one of these almost movie moments where I'm in the lift, everyone gets out the lift, and I'm kind of pushing at the lift, and yeah, when I went in, I was in for less than an hour before I had her. And a lot of people say, hey, that's really lucky, you're so lucky having a quick birth. And I'm sure, I do appreciate that, a 2-day labor would be really, really tough. But personally, I just found it really shocking. I wasn't expecting to literally just walk into a hospital and then suddenly have this baby. I was expecting to have a conversation with midwives or just get to know my environment a little bit. And, my head certainly wasn't in the headspace that it needed to be at the time. So yeah, that was tough, really tough.
I think we all have different challenges in different ways, and there are bits that are absolutely the most beautiful thing ever, and then there are other bits that can be quite jarring and unexpected. But I love that when we were talking on the phone the other night, you just sounded like you were on cloud nine about the way that things had gone and the mental strength that you were able to have this time and the differences that you felt this time compared to last time. And a lot of it was the preparation that you did do this time. Do you want to share a little bit about what you did leading up
Yeah,
to?
sure. And I suppose it kind of mentally scarred me a little bit, I think, first time around. We had even discussed, would we have a second? Because to go through that kind of experience again was really just challenging in my mind, the idea of doing that. So I guess what I thought is, what can I control? And control the controllables, I suppose. So I actually went to a yoga class quite recently, and I ended up feeling quite emotional when I was talking to her about my birth story after the class. And one thing that this lady said to me, she's actually one of the she births doulas actually, and she said, look, what you need to do is you need to kind of release the experience from your mind about what happened before, and kind of welcome this new experience in, which you know, it sounds a little bit hippie, and you know, I'm not actually the kind of person who's very much into yoga or kind of mindfulness and things like that. But it made sense to me because I thought I'm constantly focusing on comparing it to the last experience, and I want this to be about Finley and not about what happened before. So what I did is I actually revisited the hypnobirthing podcast that I did the first time round. It's called Mindful Hypnobirthing, a lady called Sophie Fletcher. And I didn't kind of go to any classes or anything like that. But all I did is each night was listening to the meditation soundtracks. Even if I kind of fell asleep to it, I feel like it was kind of really being absorbed into my mind. And it was also very relaxing when during this whole COVID time, there's a lot of stresses going on in you know, new mums' minds.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a bit of a mix of relaxation, but also preparing for the birth. And the things that they were talking about is there's kind of affirmations of, you know, you can do this, your body can do this. And, you know, again, for me, that was kind of a really different approach because that's not very me. And so I was like, you know what, I've just got to try and get my head around telling myself these things and maybe it'll work. So yeah, I did that for probably about 2 months beforehand, very seriously. And then as soon as the labor kicked in, I started the meditations and kind of went from there. And it's actually about visually imagining what your body is doing at the time to be able to kind of help this baby to kind of be born. So it's really very much a mental state. So the biggest things for me were, first of all, the breathing was probably 70% of it, was just keeping my you know, my head in the right place, not thinking about anything around me. And then the second thing was about these affirmations, which ultimately I did use some of them that they used, but when it actually came to the birth, I actually brought some of my own in, which just happened to kind of come to me at the time, which I found really useful.
So these affirmations and visualizations that you had, some of them were verbal, you're strong, you can do this, things like that. But there were actually physical things you did as well. What did you take with you into the hospital this time?
Yeah, this is sounds a bit crazy, but Sienna, my toddler, she's got these little bunnies, which are her comforters, and we bought about 3 of them, expecting that she's probably going to lose one at some point. So I just decided the day before just to take one of those with me because it smells like her. It just reminds me of her, and I suppose in my head, you know, I wanted to do this to kind of, you know, it's something that I'm doing for Sienna to give her a baby brother. And something where she wasn't able to be with us, so that was my way of her being with us and me just being able to kind of have a part of her with me. So I actually held on to that through the whole labor. I think I dropped it once and I kind of went like that to the midwife and she shoved it back in my hand.
Yeah. So Sienna's comforter in that moment, her little stuffed animal, was your comforter in that moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it was a huge help. And I wasn't even thinking about doing that. It's not something that had been recommended to me. But I think the main thing that I learned from this experience is what is special to you, as opposed to, you know, just reading books or going to classes and looking at what the textbook answer is. But what makes you kind of tick and what is special to you.
And then the visualizations, you had a couple of those as well that really carried you through mentally. What were those?
Yeah, so it actually, these again weren't planned, but it was something that just came to me. I was thinking in my head when I got to the hospital, what makes me happy? And so in my head, when I first started off, I had a kind of a visual image of Sienna. And it was just earlier that day, I'd been laughing with her and she was like above my head and she was just this beautiful laugh like toddlers
Oh,
have. And that picture just came into my mind. And so I just decided to kind of really keep that in my head. And was kind of almost not so literally, but kind of talking to her as well in my head. And that was every time I had the contractions, was to think of her face. As that kind of went along, again, this wasn't planned, but I was very close to my grandma who passed away a few years back. And I had a picture of her in my mind, which was, you know, again, just from a random photo, but it was a really happy picture of her. And in my head, I was kind of going, come on, you can help me with this, because me and my family, we always have this bit of a running joke that she helps us with situations and, you know, helps us when we're lucky and things like that. So that was one of them. And then the final one that I had when it was really coming to the end, so it was around when I transitioned around 8 centimeters dilated and I was getting to that pushing stage. I had Finley in my mind, and obviously I didn't know what Finley looked like, but I was kind of talking to him about, you know, we can do this. We're going to meet each other soon. You know, so hey, how about I do the pushing, and I'm going to see you very very soon. And that was probably the most powerful one, because you know I found that I wasn't the kind of person who talked to their bump during pregnancy. It's not very me. But at this stage, when I did that, and I wasn't planning to do that, it really just made me feel quite bonded to him. And I even said to my husband, when he then came out, it felt like I almost knew him. It was a very strange feeling, and it was, you know, there's obviously so many hormones going through your body at that time. It was quite a euphoric feeling.
And obviously we can't control our circumstances. Sienna ended up coming very quickly, and
Yeah.
in the beginning / end that are almost one and the same with that particular birth. But do you have some takeaway points that you think, listen, this really helped me, I wish I had done it the first time, and that can help? Because it's helping me. Everything you've said already is helping me for, you know, a couple of weeks from now, I think.
Well, I mean, first of all, starting off, it's just that you can kind of plan as much as you want to plan, but ultimately things may not go to plan. And that's what I found with the hypnobirthing, was that some hypnobirthing things I listened to talk about, you know, no intervention, like, you know, I plan just to hypnobirth and everything's going to be very zen and that's the way it's going to be. But I think it's about making sure that you don't get yourself too attached to that plan, because as much as I had planned hypnobirthing, and I got those kind of skills that I was hoping to use, I was also very realistic that, you know, I then wanted to trust in the doctors. And if they felt that actually there was something that needed to be done when I got into hospital, then I would follow their lead. So I certainly wasn't taking it so literally that was the only option. Secondly, I think it's just appreciating that the birth is very much mental as it is physical. So for me, I think the majority of the preparation, as much as I packed my bag and I had all my stuff ready, apart from Sienna's comforter, I didn't use any of it. My poor husband felt like he was completely redundant. He wasn't, because I feel like what he did was to help organize everything else around me so that I didn't have to think about anything apart from me. Yeah. So I think having that preparation with him so that he knew what his role was and that all I wanted to do was just be in the zone and focus. And then the other thing was, when I got to the hospital, I just explained to the midwife what I wanted to do and just said, look, I'm really not meaning to be rude, but if there's any chance that we can limit the talking, and if you want to do any observations on me or anything, then please do. But I'm just trying to keep in the zone. And I actually was a bit nervous about doing that, because I thought it was, I don't know, I just thought it was a bit rude for somebody to say that. But actually she was really appreciative, and she said, I completely believe in it. I think it's a great thing to do. And then actually she kept reminding me to go back in the zone. So yeah, I think that's the main things, and just remembering that you can do it, but also not beating yourself up if it doesn't go the way that you want it to. And then I kind of wish that post Sienna, I'd talked through my birth with somebody, and I didn't have the opportunity to do that. And I really think that would have helped me to realize what happened, and the fact that it wasn't me, and it wasn't because I was incapable of birthing in a zen way, but just to be able to kind of debrief, I think would have been really useful.
Yeah, well, he is a beautiful, beautiful boy.
He is.
Like Sienna. He's been kind of an angel baby for you, hasn't he? Oh, there's
so
a guy.
Far, but I'm not going to speak too soon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you think you'll use Strong Sexy Mom as workouts again?
Oh yeah, I'm just waiting my 6 weeks. I'm getting signed off by the doctor, and then yeah, because I've got ab separation and want to get my pelvic floor strong again. So I'll definitely be going back, and especially during this isolation period, it's great to have it online. So yeah, I will be joining you as soon as I possibly can.
Well, it'll be fun for you to be able to work out alongside yourself again, doing the toned in 25 workouts that you're in. And I would recommend starting with your core foundations, with the breathing, deep diaphragmatic breathing, your abdominal bracing, your pelvic floor activations, and then work into posture whenever you're ready, before you get it back into those workouts that you were in. They do have prenatal and postnatal modifications, but you really want to set that strong foundation first. And I know you want to be doing things the right way.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of Strong Sexy Mamas. It's a beautiful boy. I hope I have as beautiful of a story as you do. In a couple of weeks, when baby girl arrives.
I think Strong Sexy Mamas has a great philosophy and a really strong message behind it. It's about confidence. Having a baby really takes its toll on, you mentally, socially, physically, and I think having a group of like-minded mums working out with you is really good at helping rebuild all of that.
I'm feeling good, feeling strong, I'm feeling fit, I'm feeling energized, and yeah, classes with Anna have been awesome, keeping me on track through my pregnancy, and I feel as good as I've ever felt. It keeps me limber, it keeps everything moving. If things don't feel good, then Anna's always got a modification for me, which is great. But I just like to feel like myself and like to feel as fit as I can, so this is the best thing for it.
It's an amazing class. I love Anna's class. There's so much energy, and it's in such a beautiful setting at Bondi Beach. You can't get better than this. You will feel sexy and strong after the class. It's great.
I love that Strong Sexy Mamas comes online, and it's those short 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And I have two toddlers, a 1 and 2 year old, and there is no way I can get to any of those mums and bubs classes anymore. 15 minutes, I can totally squeeze into my day. I can let them run amok, let chaos happen, and they even get involved, get in the way, and then, 15 minutes I'm done, and I'm back cleaning up after them.
Getting out of bed in the morning to actually go and do some exercise has probably kept me sane. Having a baby who doesn't sleep and is not on solids at the moment, who's breastfeeding, does take its toll. So getting out and being able to be active and obviously join, an amazing community of girls, it's really empowering.
I like working out with Anna and Strong Sexy Mamas because I struggle to motivate myself at home just with having a 14-month-old baby, and I've had a few injuries, and these exercises in particular go at different levels, so I can do the kind of lower exercises as opposed to all the jumping and things like that, and it's helped me to get back motivated again.
I love Strong Sexy Mamas because it's so important to do exercise in a safe and controlled way after having a baby. It takes such a toll on your body, and Anna is amazing at giving options. It's a long recovery, and she's been amazing at helping me progress through different movements as we're going on our postnatal journey.
I love working out with Anna and the Strong Sexy Mamas. I'm having baby number 2, so I've been doing the Strong Sexy Mamas program when I had my first one, which was 19 months ago, and it's just been great that I've been able to use the program throughout the pregnancy and then after my pregnancy, and it's made me feel stronger being pregnant a second time round as well. I feel like my core is better, my glutes are better, and you need so much more energy with the second baby, so I feel like Strong Sexy Mamas has really helped me.
You can do it from home. Everyone knows babies can be difficult sometimes, so to be able to work out in your house, in your home, and include the baby in it, I think is absolutely amazing. Cost effective, I mean, look guys, we're not working, are we? Not everyone has loads of money, so to be able to just jump online, watch a video and work out with your bub at home and get fit again, I think is such an amazing program. It's also starting to teach them about an active lifestyle. They might be young, they might not know a lot about what's going on, but I think it's really good to start that active learning in their brain from an early age.
Pelvic floor's always been such a taboo topic, and I don't think it should be. We've all got one. We're all going through the same thing once we have a baby, and I think it really needs to be out there in the environment for everyone to know, but for everyone to understand as well how important it is to you as you get older once you've had your babies.
The postnatal workouts that we do are so important in the way that women's bodies recover. That is not talked about enough, not dealt with enough. Everyone launches themselves right back in, and I like to think about that first period as almost a 4th trimester of pregnancy, and paying attention to the pelvic floor, being able to find workouts like yours that are fun, being able to involve the baby, but don't forget about what our bodies are recovering from, and being able to feel comfortable taking it really slowly so we can get fit faster in the end, but taking it slowly to find a class that does that and pays attention has been amazing.
I love Strong Sexy Mamas because it gives you the opportunity to work out at home when you're too busy and have a hectic lifestyle and you can't make it to the gym. And Anna has amazing energy and her programs are super easy to follow.
I love Strong Sexy Mamas because it makes me feel good, and I encourage all women to do it, all mummies to do it, because if you feel good, then Bub's going to feel good and everyone's going to feel good and the world's a better place. I love how energetic they are and they get a full body workout, and because I've had a cesarean, I get the option of doing some low impact, and then later on I'll be able to do some high impact, and they're just so versatile, and really it's about fun for me and getting my body back to where it was pre-baby.
I love Strong Sexy Mamas because of the online videos. They're easy to do at home with your little ones running around, and there's lots of choices you can do.
I was like, wow, this is for me. And so the belly's going and getting strength in my arms, and with strength comes just greater confidence. I just feel really good in my skin at the moment, and I love that.
What is it that you like about taking my classes?
Well, first of all, it's awesome fun. Smile from ear to ear when you're doing it.
It is fun. So you would recommend it?
Absolutely try out her class. It is super fun and really safe and well done and thought out, and I think that it's a really great class.
Oh, thank you.
I like also the fact that you offer lots of options. So, for example, postnatal women need to take it a bit more easy, but even someone like myself who's not postnatal anymore, my kids are 6 and 8 now, but I might have other issues. I've got a sore back, so I don't do high impact exercise in general.
Yeah.
And I like that you offer options.
But she is always working it, doing the low impact exercises.
That's right. Just because it's low impact doesn't mean it's not hard work. It doesn't mean that you can't sweat or you can't get a good burn or good pump, a good exercise, challenge your cardiovascular system, strengthen those muscles. But I love that you give options.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would definitely recommend Strong Sexy Mamas. It's been great to meet other like-minded mums. It's been great bonding for Valentina and I really feel a change in my body already.